meters. Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the channel. I'm just checking to make sure that everything is kicking off fine and working on the stream. And with that being said, I will see if I can actually get this thing started. See if we're going. Just a few settings I just want to check really quickly before we kick it off. That looks fine. That's okay. Advanced. Okay. Okay. And then we'll just transition into that. Awesome. There we go. Okay, fantastic. All right, let's get this party going and then see how this all kicks off. Actually, what I might do is see if I can play some slight music in the background as well and get this fired up. To do that, however, I might just restart the stream real quick and then kick us off.
Oh my baby, got me staring at you. So I'm crazy. What you been?
There we go. So if you guys are in the chat, just jump in, say hello, and let me know how the audio is going. If you guys can hear me clearly. And while we do that, we'll just kick this off. So it's a beautiful Saturday afternoon here in Christchurch, New Zealand. The weather is holding up, though the forecast didn't say that the weather was going to be decent or good, so to say. It was meant to be a rainy day, actually, but I can see some dark clouds when I look out through the window, but so far it seems to be holding up. So anyways, I woke up and thought to myself, I'll just do a stream and stay indoors since it's not meant to be nice out anyways. We'll see how we go. So this stream is going to be like a little cheeky one. We're going to fire up a few sims and we're just going to play some Rallycross, really, and then sort of see how that goes. I was thinking to myself that Dirt 2 is coming out, and the hype machine on Dirt 2.0 is going nuts. And so I thought, well, one of the things that is really popular and is sort of like exploding on the international scene is the Rallycross scene. And with all the rally titles, they're seeming to want to shift towards Rallycross because there is that whole esports sort of aspect to it, or potential that's coming out. And as a result, you find games like Dirt 2 coming out, and they're going on about how Rallycross is going to be one of their biggest focuses, as well as the traditional rally aspect of things. So I thought to myself, well, why don't you just actually do a stream where you look at the various titles, sim titles that are on the market, and look at the Rallycross experience across all of these, and then sort of see exactly what competition Dirt 2.0 has to deal with. And this also includes the original Dirt game itself. So it's I mean, at the end of the day, sims are highly subjective because you can't simulate everything realistically. So this is just a fun little thing that I put together. Don't take it too seriously. Don't be offended. It's all out of joy. So what I'm trying to find right now is a Rallycross vehicle that is at least common towards all the simulators. Like, I know iRacing is a little bit different because the only car that's free in iRacing is the Peugeot, and I'm not about to go about purchasing any content for this video because I don't make that kind of money yet. So, but we'll see how we'll go. So we'll go with the Polo because I think the Polo is both in Project Cars, and it is also in Dirt Rally, the first Dirt Rally. And then for track, we'll try Daytona because I know that's a track that is in it's in iRacing. That's the free track that they give you. Speedway, we'll try their Rallycross. That's that one there. So we'll give that a go, and we'll just do it in the middle of the day with normal settings. See how it does, and then maybe what we might actually try to do is do a race real quick and see how it goes. So yeah, if you're in the chat, say hi. Feel free to give your opinions and stuff like that if you think I'm wrong about something. What I've done is I've made a little wee spreadsheet as well so that we can sort of tally it up at the end and then see which sim comes out on top, so to say. But really, at the end of the day, it's just fun. I enjoy all sims. It doesn't matter. I play anything from iRacing to GT Sport to I've got them all. My only gripe with iRacing is there's a huge barrier to entry cost-wise, which I think is a shame because it's fantastic in the way that it handles. But I just want to see how each developer has interpreted it and done it differently, so to say. So let's put it that way. All right, so how are the sound levels, guys, in chat? Let's see, actually, let me see if I can pull up my chat here. Sorry about this, guys. I really need a wireless keyboard. I only have one wireless keyboard, and I'm using 2 computers to stream. So I think what I'll do actually is I'll just open up the chat and keep that open, so that you guys that are in chat, if you do write something, I can sort of see what's going on and stay on top of it. There we go. That should be good enough. So if the audio levels are fine and you guys can hear me and you can hear the game, let me know. If not, let me know so that I can adjust that accordingly. And we are off. I won't be using VR, even though I have access to it, but that's because, one, it's very difficult to interact and to stream with VR because of the headset, and 2, it is also extremely difficult to record VR for some reason with Dirt Rally. It's fine with Project Cars and the others. Oh, there's a bit of kick in that. Oh, yep. That's my shoulder. That's my shoulder. The force feedback in this has got quite a bit of bite. So, whoa. So with Project Cars 2, already you can sort of feel a significant difference between the traction in the gravel and the traction on tarmac. But Project Cars 2 has got this, it's always had this slightly sluggish, I don't want to say sluggish, but this very rubberized feel towards tarmac, which predominantly comes from their tire model. I hope that's not too loud for the game audio. I could barely hear it, so I turned it on. But the transition between gravel to dirt, you can feel it. Like the weight of the car almost, or the weight sticks, or the traction significantly increases on the gravel aspect. I think I want my force feedback up too high. I'm using an OSW wheel, the small midge. So some of these bits, it is really yanking, which actually goes to show you the weight transfer is done pretty well, except for that corner there. I might need to assign a handbrake for that corner. Let's try and see if we can do a clean lap. I haven't played P-Cars 2 in quite a while. The car doesn't turn in as much as I'd like it to on braking. Mind you, I am using the default setup with all of these vehicles. I'm working with a baseline that the developers believe probably is the best. So I haven't gone in and changed any settings. Yeah, it's a little tricky getting this vehicle to turn in, to be honest with you. Turn in is a little difficult. I'm not using the handbrake because I don't necessarily believe that you always have to use the handbrake when you're doing Rallycross. Not for, at least not for some of these turns that we have on this track. I don't think any of them are acute enough to warrant handbrake turns. You could, but like this one that comes after this one here, you should be able to turn into that without having to use a handbrake, I believe. I've never driven a Rallycross car, but I believe that they shouldn't be that difficult to turn around. They're meant to be sliding. Okay, so you seem to get the more success getting this car around better if you don't use the brake, but rather modulate the power on the throttle, and then it's more inclined to actually go around the corners. So you turn in. There we go. So the way the handling with this seems to work is turning generally is with the throttle and putting power down to the wheels, and it's quite a fun experience. Minus my my bad driving. Hold on, let's see if we can actually sort out the handbrake issue. Put something together. Give me a second. See what we can do here. Let's jump in that. Controls. All right. Edit assignments. Vehicle. Or is it motion? Okay. We'll do you. That will be the handbrake. Okay. Let's try that. Let's give it a shot. We'll just restart the session. Okay. Yeah, the handbrake really does yank it. You go straight into a 90-degree turn with that. So it is probably for more acute turns. But let's just mess around with it and see. Here we go. Here we go, that was a handbrake turn. And that worked out well, actually. You can see the weight transfer sort of kicking in there when you start actually throwing the car around a bit. And it's not as prominent on the loose surface as much as it is on the tarmac. And I think maybe that the loose surface gives way to the car actually slipping when the weight is transferred from one side to the other. As you can see that the weight's tilting like that. You can actually feel that through the wheel, how you've got more grip, and so almost the tires latch onto the surface a lot more when the weight is transferred in the chassis and suspension moves, whereas when you're on the gravel, it seems to give way a little bit and it's not as extreme. It doesn't feel as extreme. And then there you go, it just sort of locks in when you do that, which I think is pretty cool in terms of giving that immersion between going on loose surfaces and the tarmac. And I think the trick to playing with that weight transfer, with this car at least, is more the throttle than it is the brake, funnily enough. I've always thought that weight transfer was really about mastering how to apply the brakes in a subtle and very controlled manner. But this seems to be more responsive to the throttle. I could be wrong. If you guys have this car and you have project cars too, what are your thoughts? Let me know. Okay, let's see if we could fire up a race and then see how we go. I will change the button that I've assigned to the handbrake because it's a little out of reach, and I could have picked a better one. So we'll try this one here. There we go. Gameplay, and we'll see if we can fire up a race. Exit the session and do a custom race. That's the same vehicle, isn't it? Is it? Yes, it is. Daytona International Raceway, 6 laps. No practice session. And let's give it a bash.
Keep your eye on the line. Easy with the right foot. Let's nail this.
Yeah, really, put me in the wall. That was a horrible start, so I will take this opportunity to take my joker.
Car right.
There's the old Project Cars
You're
2
clear.
warning. Okay, so how far back do I need to go? Position
He's 2
4.
lengths behind you.
Alright,
1 length back.
come on.
Still 1 back.
Why are they not going past me? There we go. The AI is going really slow. I wonder what setting they've been put at, because they're not going quick at all. Oh goodness, come on.
Watch right. Got a car right.
Took that too intensely.
Right side. On your right side. You've got 1 on your right.
I think they need to adjust the tolerance for the track limits when you're doing racing, because Rallycross isn't really like surface racing where collision with other vehicles and they've overly strict track limits, because the whole concept is the cars are sliding half the time. And so if you have the same tolerance as a normal
That's your fastest lap in the race so far.
track course and warnings popping up every time you go out of bounds, it really does break the immersion, I believe, anyways. Like, I'm finding I'm now worried more about going out of the track limits than I am really just throwing the car around, which I believe is the concept of Rallycross. Really, that's the heart and soul of it. This is why they don't, even the format is the quick 5-minute heat in terms of the races, and you just go there, you bash the vehicle around, you see you can get around the circuit the fastest, and you just do it that way. Overall, though, it feels good in the wheel.
One more lap. Come on, you can do it.
Lap are we on? Go for a cheeky pass there. wasn't bad. I don't believe. That was okay. Yeah, the
You're on the podium. Top job.
overall experience for me, I think, was marred a little bit by the penalty system, which I think has been a frequent concern with this game. And you sort of forget why you stop playing it after a while. You're like, I haven't played Project Cars 2 in a while. I wonder why. And you get back into it, and then that sort of thing happens, and you're like, oh yeah, that's why I stopped playing it for a while. But let's see if we can actually just jump into the old spreadsheet here. Oh yeah, I was just playing random non-copyright music in the background. We'll see if we can fire up another track while we just fire that up. Well, we'll look at this. Right, so weight transfer and handling. So this is all out of 5. We'll do 5. 5 seems cool. For now, because I like the nuance in the way in which when you're on tarmac and you had more grip, lateral grip within the tires, you could really feel the car sway more than when you're on the loose gravel surface and there was a little more give in it. So out of 5, I will give that a 4 for now. Chances are I'll change these figures once I start comparing them to the other sims, because then they'll all be within comparison to the other. Why isn't iRacing bold? That should be bold so everyone can see it. There we go. Alright, that I'll give a 3. You could feel the differences between the surfaces, the tarmac and the loose gravel. You could sense it, but it wasn't as dramatic as I would have imagined. It did change, however, as the race continued. I noticed, and maybe the tires had warmed up, that when you did hit the tarmac, there was a bit more grip. They were a bit more sticky, so to say, or as some people would maybe term it, the sludgy sensation that you get with Project Cars 2. Okay, maybe we'll leave that at 3. We'll do a 3. Right, and then number of stages. That's probably something we need to go back in the game and actually check. Vehicle selection, we can check that. Multiplayer experience, we haven't tried that as well. But I'm not gonna go. Actually, let's rename that. Let's not call that multiplayer experience. Let's just call it no, I think I can make an assessment of this, because I have done some league racing in Project Cars 2. Is the penalty system would be an issue if you're doing multiplayer. If it is as sensitive as it is, the penalty system would be an issue. But if you turn it off and you're within a league race, you could generally get good competitive racing with that. So I'm just gonna go on a whim and then put together my previous experience racing in Project Cars 2 in a league context, not so much a public server context. Or should we actually fire this up and try and get a Rallycross server going? I'm trying to think for time here. All right, let's try it. Let's try out a multiplayer session. We'll set one up. See how we go. And see how many people join. But the problem is, it will be open lobby. That's the issue. That is my issue. And that's never a good experience. As you can tell, I don't really jump on regular open lobbies for that reason. But we have time. So let's check it out. But I think it would be highly dependent on the people that you're racing with, obviously. So we'll use the same vehicle. So this is your WRX car selection, which I think is pretty good. With these ones over here being the, so we have the Mercedes AMG Rallycross. This was the one in all the promo, the Honda Civic Coupe. Got the Countryman, Citroen. That's your Ford Focus, your Renault, Audi. It's not a bad selection, and they also have one for the vintage. There's another one that they have, which is like the light Rallycross. They only have one car under that category. I thought there was more. So what, 1, 2, and what is that? 10? Yeah. So we're 12 Rallycross cars across the game, which isn't bad, I don't think. It's fair. So vehicle selection will say maybe a 3. Number of stages, so we'll pick that. Select. Okay, then stages. Is there a way to group these based on, I don't think there is, based on the type of stage. Project Cars do is quite, I wouldn't be surprised if they went on it with their Rallycross type stuff. The first one I expect to see is the Brands Hatched GP in the, so we've got Barcelona, so that's 1. Yeah, we've got Brands Hatch, there it is. We've got Daytona. We've got the Dirtfish. Pro Series Rallycross. We've got Donington, we just did that one. No, sorry, Daytona is the one that we did. We haven't done Donington. We've got Hockenheim Rallycross. Knock Hill Rallycross. I think they've got a pretty good selection. I wouldn't be surprised. Linden Hill Rallycross. Linkman, yeah, I think Project Cars too. And we're not even halfway down the list. It's got a very extensive track list. That is probably one of their strongest points. As a sim, is their track roster is quite extensive. Here's another one over here. Yeah, I think I'll give this one to them. So what were we doing? We were doing Donington, Daytona, weren't we? D, Daytona, Rallycross. Speak good. Select. Okay. Do some online racing. We will do a really short qualifying. It won't allow me to do that. Why is that? What do we have under presets? Okay, 6 laps, standing start. Go back to our polo. And go back to... Alright, so these are the Rallycross tracks. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that correct? 1. What 11 Rallycross circuits in the game? fire that up. I'm not actually gonna sit here and wait too long for people to join, because I don't think that's the purpose of the stream. So we're 11 track, so we'll give that a 5. Multiplayer experience, I do think it can be good. Yeah, you could have fun with it, so put that on a 4. Quick math here while we wait for that server to fill up, if it does fill up. So 19 out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 by 5, 25, which isn't bad, I don't think, but we'll see what the others do. How's this server coming along? Yeah, this is the thing with, actually what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna detract points based on the fact that with multiplayer you kind of have to start up a server and you have to wait for people to be able to actually jump in, and you could wait anywhere between 5 minutes to an hour to actually get it full, unless of course you publicly send it out and invite to people and get people to come in, which you're now trying to move towards more of organized racing, which is like your league. So with that, and what I know the penalty system to be like in terms of going off track and getting penalties all the time, I would bring it down to a 3 actually. Yeah, I'll bring it down to a 3. Okay, let's move on. I think I'm satisfied with that assessment. If you guys don't agree with that assessment or my logic behind that assessment, let me know in the comments below. So we'll shut down old Project Cars 2. Fire up Steam again. What's going on here with Steam Updater? Do that later. Fire up some Dirt Rally. I have itchy hands, like the palm of my hands are itchy. In old folklore where I'm from, it says that if the palm of your hands are itchy, you're gonna get money. So the lottery right now in Christchurch in New Zealand is sitting at about $14 million. So I think I might go buy myself a lottery ticket. What are thoughts and feelings on the issue? Should I go and get myself a lottery ticket and then not have to stream? Okay, so what are we doing? We are going to go with a custom event. I'm going to go with Rallycross. We're going to disregard whatever it is I was doing. Okay, so Linden Hill. So let's look at the locations. This is Rallycross, yes? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that's it, isn't it? Are there more? So Linden Hill, that's 1. Norway is 2. Sweden is 3. Do they only have 3? Mind you, this is stock. I haven't gone and downloaded any content or anything along those lines. I'm just working with the stock content that people get when they purchase, or rather, let me put it this way. I'm working with stock content that's produced by the developers, DLCs included. There are only 3 stages. 1, 2, 3. Which I think has always been an issue with Dirt Rally. Dirt Rally has always been criticized for having very little content. So I think that brings it down to like a 2. We are not playing in VR, you can go away. Okay, so we will pick hell, I guess. And then in event structure, we will go to AI. We'll put it on easy just for giggles. Is there a practice mode though? I would have preferred to just run around and practice first, but it is what it is. I will also fire this up real quick because that will give me access to my handbrake. Good old Joy to Key. There we go. It's not a bad way to spend a Saturday afternoon. Let's make that bigger. Or the full circuits. Okay, so there are variations. So that actually maybe might bring it to 6 rather than 3 circuits. Vehicles. So 1, 2, 3. That's 4. That's 5. That's 6. 7, 8, 9. 10. That's not bad in terms of vehicle selection. That's almost comparable to what Project Cars had, isn't it? Because Project Cars had 10, 12. Yeah, so they're kind of in the same ballpark figure. So I think in terms of vehicle selection, they're quite comparable. Okay, let's do the fun part. Let's do some driving. That's not the vehicle I want. I want something. Try and keep this as similar as possible. So we will go with this one here. Probably shouldn't be having the game background in there for copyright issues. So we'll jump out of the menus as quickly as possible. Okay, so this is just like a full-on race.
You only need to take it once. If you miss it, you'll get a time penalty.
What's going on? Why was I disqualified? What happened? Restart. What's going on? Okay, that hurts, and I think I know why I'm having difficulty turning the steering wheel, because I'm on the wrong profile. So jump out of Project Cars 2 and go to Dirt Rally. There we go. And then restart. Yeah, that's better. It's gonna be tricky to compare because the tarmac surface is wet. But having said that, the car definitely feels lighter on the tarmac. Compared to Project Cars 2. The weight transfer is more natural, to be honest with you. Just picking... Oh, there we go. I felt that. And what I mean by more natural is it's more intuitive. With Project Cars 2, I spent a lot of the time trying to learn, or figuring out rather, that I had to play around with the throttle as opposed to the brake. Whereas this seems to do what I expect it to do, which is turn in on braking. Now, because of the wet surface, I can't actually get, or distinguish rather, whether or not what I'm feeling for the tarmac is due to how they're simulating a wet surface, or that's just generally the way the tarmac works. Because I can't feel much grip and difference in grip, but and visually I can't clearly tell where the tarmac starts and where it stops. But having said that, I can feel the car load up when I turn, and I know exactly how much turning is needed. Have I not taken the joker? I thought I took the joker. Like, I know from watching Rallycross that this is meant to be gravel, but visually it's not as distinct. I'm not gonna lie to you though, it does feel amazing driving this in terms of like feeling the car's weight shift. Okay. I think I want to redo that in dry conditions. We'll continue to see what the 10% dirt, 51% asphalt, medium gravel. Yeah, I can't feel all those repair it. So normally you would be able to feel all that nuance, and I'm not necessarily getting all of that through the wheel. Match recommendations. Let's give it another bash. Come on. Do a little Okay, let's go over this route. Yeah, that I can feel. But it's not as distinct as it was in Project Cars 2. And I think the tarmac racing was always one of Dirt Rally's weakest points, wasn't it? Tarmac surfaces and how the feel of that was simulated through. Through the game. Still fun. Which is surprising because I'm actually enjoying this a lot more just the driving than Project Cars 2. Like the vehicle feels as though it's more punchy, you know, like every input has an effect. You feel the weight shift forward when you brake. You actually feel the weight shift sideways when you apply the throttle, or how much you apply the throttle by and turn in and that sort of a thing. It's very subtle, but it's very prominent at the same time, if that makes sense. It's like you can tell the car's doing it, and you can tell that you don't need to exaggerate your movements. You can just get away with like that. How I'm holding that at that angle, even though I was off the track. But you can get away with just very subtle movements of the steering wheel and inputs to get the car to respond and to do what you want. Whereas with P-Cars 2, there was a slight vagueness. As much as there was detail in the differences between the tarmac and the gravel, there was a vagueness in the weight transfer of the vehicle in trying to get the vehicle to shift towards the left and the right. So you ended up oversteering, or maybe not modulating the brake or the throttle as finely as you would with this. So it's very fascinating how it was done. Whereas the actual fidelity coming through the various surfaces, I think that Project Cars 2 probably takes it in this regard. And that's especially more on the tarmac side. I think the difference is with Project Cars 2, they had Rallycross in the back of their heads when they're putting it together. Whereas from what I understand, with Dirt Rally, it sort of came in after the sim had been put together. And so tarmac wasn't necessarily their strongest point. If it keeps asking me to repair the car after every race, I'm going to be repairing this car the whole time, because I'm going to be smacking into every single thing that I have. That's in the way. Alright, go back. But it's fun. It's and the thing is, it makes sense if you think about it being predominantly a rally game, because with rally, you're not necessarily racing anyone you can see. You're just it's just you and the stage. And you're driving, and it's you and the car versus the stage, and that's the sensation I'm getting on this track. I'm having more fun driving the car around rather than actually focusing on the race at hand, if that makes sense. And that's coming through. You can tell that this is a rally title inherently by its nature. This is what it's meant to do. It's meant to deliver that sensation of weight transfer, that sensation of control within your hands, and make you want to master navigating the circuit with the car, or the stage in this case. Project Cars 2, I didn't get that feeling at all. It was very much about the race, if that makes sense, which I think is marred because of the issue with the track limits. Like, if you look at how we're sort of sliding around with this, the last thing you want to do is either rub into another car and then be told that gain the position unfairly, or have the car slide out and have one or two wheels go out of the limits and be told that you've gained a position unfairly and you have to wait for the vehicles. That just, to me, that really broke the immersion and the fun factor of what I think Rallycross is. And you're just better off turning off all the rules and the flags when you do that in P-Cars 2. And depending on who you're racing with, just sort of have a gentleman's race where people are considerate of other people. In fact, most sims, I tend to think, work better that way when you have organized races and people are just, you know, good about it all. So I'm losing a lot of traction on the tarmac there, and I think it's because it's meant to be a wet surface. But I am enjoying driving this so much. After this, I want to do another track and see if we can find one that's dry. And give that a whack. That is so satisfying. That is satisfying. Like, if you look at that, I haven't used the handbrake to navigate that. All I did was just touch on the brake a little bit and the car turned in. And that's what I've always imagined these machines to be, is in, I don't imagine you have to whack on the handbrake for every single turn to get the car to shift. Because to me, that wouldn't be the most efficient Rallycross car ever, you know? Whereas with Project Cars 2, I felt to get the car to actually shift in with its default setup, you actually had to be a little more aggressive with it and sort of throw it in. I have no idea where I came in that race. I don't think yeah, I'm right at the end. So let's just, do we have to see this through, or can we skip through and go on to another track? So I don't want to restart. Do you want to exit? Okay, so we're in house. Sweden, that sounds like snow and ice to me. So yeah, let's try Linden Hill. Okay, 60% asphalt, 29% thing, concrete, rain. Why is there rain all the time? Randomize conditions, let's try that. Oh, that's better. Okay, I didn't know you could do that. Let's try that again this time. Let's go back to hell, because we already know that track and we're familiar with it. And then that way I can actually compare. Okay, so we had afternoon overpass. Beautiful circuit. Here we go, that's better. Few more rounds of this. I'm having a blast. Yeah, you can definitely feel a little more grip in the tarmac. Yeah, there's some difference with the gravel, but it's not that pronounced. I can feel it though. It's almost like and visually you can see it now. It's good.
Already checked all you got. Didn't need to do another one.
Getting told off for taking the Joker twice, but I really wanna nail down how this all feels. There's a difference. Subtle. The tarmac tends to feel a little more glass-like. Does that make sense? Like, and maybe that's because Rallycross 2 is that really hyper rubberized tire model. But that jump there is so satisfying. I didn't get that sensation when I was in Project Cars 2, and I was taking that jump in the middle of the Daytona track. You know when you land and you feel the suspension compress? That comes through the wheels quite nicely. I think I'm gonna give it to Dirt Rally in terms of weight transfer and just that intuitive control of the vehicle. Yeah, I think these guys take it. In terms of where they missed out is just that nuance within the feel of the various surfaces. But it doesn't take away from controlling the car, the weight transfer. At no point do you feel that you've lost control of the car and it wasn't anything that there wasn't anything you could do about it. It's almost like with each lap, you learn how much of an input to put in, and you adjust, and you just get better. So I'm enjoying this a lot. I think for something probably as old as it is, if Dirt 2.0 is able to capture, what am I doing? I'm looking for F2 recommendations to capture the true handling and driving feel and essence of Dirt Rally. I think they have a winner on their things. I do think, and I think with Dirt 2, they've clearly made it a point that Rallycross is on their mind, so maybe they can iron out the stuff that I was talking about with the nuances in the surface. Oh, that feels nice. That feels very nice. Should not have done that though. So I'm just chilling on a Saturday afternoon, chucking a car around, a virtual car around, right? What are you guys up to? What are your thoughts on Rallycross as a sport? Is it gaining in popularity? Like, I was looking at the internet and on my feed, my social media feed, Formula One has just announced that they'll be going to, I think it's Thailand, Hanoi, for the 2021. And so there's all this marketing where Formula One is really trying to get people interested back in it. But then you've got Rallycross, and their tactic is a little bit different. You can watch the entire Rallycross championship on YouTube without a paywall, unlike Formula One, where you sort of have to get the app and all that other kind of stuff. And so it's interesting because I was watching it with someone the other day, and they normally watch Formula One. They started watching Formula One this year and really got into it. And they made a comment, and they were like, Rallycross, because of the format, it's a lot more bite-sized and a lot more happens. Whereas the reality with most Formula One races is they're really quite boring. You know? I mean, the build-up to it, in terms of the hype and the points and stuff, is very well done. But then you get to the race, and with their one-stop strategies and team orders, it becomes very predictable, and it actually takes a lot out of the sport. Anyway, so when they watched Rallycross, they made a comment and they said, had they started watching Rallycross before they started watching Formula One, they wouldn't be able to stand Formula One. Because they would have found it too slow, too boring, and too predictable. Whereas with Rallycross, you know, you got your 5-minute heats, and what am I doing? 5-minute heats, and they a lot more happens in those 5 minutes than 20 minutes of a Formula One race, outside of, you know, the first lap. So it'll be interesting to see if it catches on as a motorsport and what the fan base looks like. Okay, I think now we can make a verdict with this. Now, multiplayer. That's one I've never tried with this at all. So let's give it a go. I don't want to restart. The menus are so confusing. How do you just... How can you not... I just want to get out of the game. Where do you get multiplayer? What kind of leagues? Now we're gonna quit that. Online events. Okay, so these are the timed rally stages that you can do to compete with other people online. So that's pretty cool. Do they have anything for Rallycross though? Well, that would be under PvP, wouldn't it? So you can make an online custom championship, fair play. Championship playlist. So I'll find it. So am I the one who's actually hosting this, or can we find a list of one that's already up and running? Is there a list of one? Let's see, what do people like driving? Let's try classics. I think what we might do is we might actually assist the multiplayer separately in a separate video, because it looks like you're better off just getting a group of people together and then firing it up. Okay, we'll do that. Let's move on to iRacing. That's probably gonna win. That's probably gonna take it. Okay, traction 5. I was going on about quite a bit. No. Traction between surfaces. Two. That's a 5. Is that fair? Good old iRacing. Oh, this one's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of passionate people about that one. I'm sure they're passionate people about everything. It's not bad music. Okay, so where are we? We'll fire this up. We're all up to date. That's pretty good. Dirt car, street stock car, no. Okay, practice by myself. Let's try that. That's the one that we want. That's the Rallycross car. Cool. We just need to change the track to Daytona International Speedway. Configuration. Rallycross long. Cool. Then in here we will change the settings so I don't snap my wrists to iRacing. Do not want to do this in VR. This is a test. looking for the camera. Open the camera tool. Let's try that. Let's give it a whack. So with project cars, when you're on the tarmac, you had a very rubbery feel towards the texture, right? Then when we tried the tarmac with Dirt Rally, it was almost like there was a thin film of glass. It wasn't icy, but that rubberized contact between rubber and texture wasn't there, which to project cars downside kind of gave it like a rubberized, sluggish feel, you know, almost like you're driving through, for lack of a better term, almost like tar, you know. So anytime the car swayed laterally, you would feel it going in. There was that resistance, and you'd see it in the roll bars, in the chassis, on the screen, with the car tilting really heavily towards it. So this is on the tarmac. Whereas with the dirt rally, there was this glassy feel where the only difference that you could generally feel between the tarmac and the gravel surfaces were the bumps, but the handling was quite almost arguably controllable throughout. Not that it shouldn't be. Yeah. Whereas with this, it's kind of like in between. The tarmac feel on this feels more natural. So it's not overly rubbery. It feels like a car with wheels on a road surface. So that's big points to iRacing for that. It feels more natural. And then when you go on the grass feels like grass, and then the gravel feels like gravel. So the fidelity within the force feedback is fantastic. However, Project Cars 2 had a gradient towards traction loss. So you could slide, hold it at an angle, give or take, and then pulsate your throttle and sort of slide it at that angle when you're taking it. You did have to do slightly more exaggerated inputs with Project Cars because the weight transfer, or the feeling of the weight transfer within the suspension, wasn't as nuanced as, say, Dirt Rally. But you through that sluggish feeling, you could feel that, okay, I'm at an angle, and then if I can just keep the steering wheel here and then pulsate it, I can hold it at that angle until I need to counter steer and get out. With Dirt Rally, you actually felt the suspension shift, and even though you didn't get as much coming through the tarmac in terms of traction, the suspension, the shift in the angle, and how much weight was being loaded on each side with the suspension let you know how your car was tilted and whether you're going to go beyond the threshold or not. iRacing, you get the good tarmac feel, the good gravel feel, but now when you want to have that play with the sliding, it kind of doesn't let you. It's almost like the moment you slide, you're out. You know what I mean? It's like a road car that you slide in and you're out. So you don't have room to sort of play and sway from side to side. So it's really, really interesting. So you want to probably approach iRacing, the Rallycross, more with like a road course hat on, of like, sliding slows me down, loss of traction isn't the best way to go. Whereas with Rallycross, if you watch it anywhere on TV, it's all cars sliding back and forth. So I'm just going to give this another run. But so far, these are my initial impressions. It's really quite interesting to see how they've done it. But the first here, if you look there, so if you look there, I was hesitant on actually getting into a slide because I wasn't sure if I could control it. So I just went wide and just walked. Oh, that's awesome. I really want to So what happened right there was I put a little pressure on the brake. I got into a slide, but it wouldn't let me come out of it and counter. So normally you get into a slide this way, and then you want to get into that way. Keep practicing. I mean, some of this is just not having experience with them. You figure it out. See what the handbrake does. Like with Dirt Rally, I didn't even have to use the handbrake. I was just using my foot. And this vehicle is on the track. Turn this down. I pulled really lightly on the handbrakes to try and find some form of control, and then the moment the slide kicked in, it was very difficult to get out of it. What am I doing wrong, guys? Like you can see my input. You can see my input in the bottom. That wasn't me, that was me hitting the wall. Okay, so the positives of iRacing, love full feedback. This tire just locking up. I think. Yeah, I think. I was just watching the replay there. I think you really have to take time to get to grips with this. It doesn't allow you to slide. You can't, for example, do a Scandinavian flick in this. If you can, I don't think you can. You can't slide one way and then counter steer with the weight and then flick it in the opposite direction. Please, someone prove me wrong in the comments below. I think, again, iRacing was built on circuit driving, and it seems to be fantastic for circuit driving, but I think this is now something that's then been added on, and the physics model isn't necessarily done that way to deal with that. So it'll be interesting because they are releasing a new tire model that's coming out. So it'll be interesting how that is going to affect this. Is there a difference between tarmac and gravel? Yes. It's probably the, in my argument, I think it's the best feeling nuance between gravel. So they've got the foundation for something good. They just need to get that gradient for lateral traction loss down, make it less sharp, you know, more gradual, more controlled, because that's really where the nuance of rallycross, I think, and rally driving is just kind of playing within that gradient and playing with that weight transfer and that shift from side to side. But yeah, all right, if we're gonna put marks on it, multiplayer, this will blow anything out of the water. And to be honest with you, that's part of the reason why I put multiplayer on the list, was I suspected that iRacing wouldn't be as strong with that. So traction between surfaces, I give that a 5. That's solid. Having said that, that will probably come at 3.5. And I'll put that at 2.5. Now that I've done them both. We transfer into handling. I'll give it a 3. There's something there. The weight transfer is there, but the handling when it comes to the traction loss, I think is a little off. But that's just my choice. That's my thing. Cars. Let's see what we can get in terms of vehicles. So if we jump out of that and see what the selection is. Where were we? There we are. iRacing. iRacing. Continue that. Race guide. Okay, so if we wanted to go to the store and buy cars and select cars by take out oval. What is it called? GRC? GRC, that's what they call it, isn't it? Okay, let's just take everything. And then go GRC. Or Rallycross. You can tell I don't buy stuff on iRacing. I can't even use the search engine to find the vehicles. So what? None of those are rally cars. No. 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 Here we go. So we've got one. That's Rallycross, isn't it? Is that a Rallycross vehicle? I can't tell. I don't think it is. Is it? Surely there's more than 2 cars. So we've got the Beetle. Yeah, there we go. So we've got 1, 2, 3. This is number 3. So what? 3 cars? Two. And then the Beetle I was using, that's 3. Okay, so say 3, maybe 4 cars. What about tracks? Yeah, I don't think that's how that works. They seem to have a very extensive track list. It'll be interesting to see the breakdown of which ones I know what I can do. If we go to a series, we can get an idea of what the track list looks like. come on here and look for the Rallycross series. Yeah, they look like they've only got 3 Rallycross cars. Schedule. Okay, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a repeat. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. Yeah, that's comparable, I think. Yeah, to all the other sims. Okay, so this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna say vehicle selection for the smallest number. So these guys are between 10 to 12. So we'll bump them up to 5 down at the most, followed by that one. And then this one's got 3, so we will give it maybe a 2. When it comes to stages, it had about... You only had 3 stages with 2 variants each. So that made it 6 stages. So that'll bring it up to about 3, actually. And then I'll put you at 4. Okay, and then we will tally this up. Oh, this is gonna create upset. Project Cars 2 winning? What? What? That's not what I want to do. That is not at all what I want to do. Ooh, that's gonna create upset. But it makes sense. It makes sense. I think what would have changed this would have been this. So without considering, so we'll say no multiplayer. Let's do it this way. Multiplayer. The standings come out with P-Cars 2 at 17.5 being the best, followed by Dirt Rally, and followed by iRacing in terms of Rallycross. Then once we look at the multiplayer experience, I think that actually it will change, because I'd imagine that would be a 5. I'll be interested. I actually don't know. Okay, we'll have to do a multiplayer one separately. I don't want to speculate. We'll do that one separately, and we'll do a separate video for that. Okay, thank you very much, guys, for watching this this stream and having fun with me. But yes, those are the standings. With regards to Rallycross overall, Project Cars 2 takes the lead, Dirt Rally comes second, and iRacing comes last. If you guys agree with that, let me know. If you disagree with that, let me know. Look, this has just been a fun exercise. We've been messing about. All the opinions here obviously are subjective, and it's my humble opinion, so please don't lynch me. Try it out. Do it. Just fire up the Sims, give them a whack, come up with your own criteria of what you think. Tell me what I could have changed in mine or what I should have considered in mine, and see where we go. If you like this and you want this sort of more of this sort of content, let me know in the description below. Please like, subscribe, and yeah, I think we will end the stream on that. So thank you very much. Have a lovely day. And also, yes, I have fired up a Patreon page. at the bottom there because I want to do more hardware reviews. So if you've been on the channel for long, or if you're new to the channel, you'll notice that I did things like a buyer's guide to direct drive wheels, and I have a few things that I actually want to review hardware wise, but it's predominantly stuff that I currently own. But I do want to expand to review other things like shifters and look at shifter mods and things of that nature. But that sort of costs money because you kind of have to buy. It's a small channel, no one's going to sponsor me at this size, so I have to buy the stuff. So what I've done is I've started a Patreon site, and if you are a Patreon member, what I am going to do is I will put up these reviews and I will compare this hardware, and it'll be exclusive to the Patreon members, and they also have the ability to decide what I should review next. So if you are a person who's interested in looking at a piece of hardware or a piece of kit and you want to see a review on it or a comparison review on it, let me know and we'll do it. And I think also once I've used the hardware, I'm not gonna have a need for it all. I might actually start another tier on Patreon based on how well we're doing, and then that tier will be in the running to actually win the hardware that I have lying around. So if I have like multiple shifters and stuff, I'll probably do them for the review, try them out, and then package them up and put them up as spot prizes. But that is probably going to be a different tier to the one that's currently there, and that tier will come up after we get to a certain point and I have a certain thing. But obviously, yeah, it'll be a higher tier. But yeah, please like, subscribe, and let's see if we can hit our 200 subscriber goal before the end of Christmas. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the video. Peace out. After that long-winded thing, I probably should have put this through so that I can actually turn the stream off. But yeah, see you guys. Have a good one. Bye bye.